This is Something to Hold Us, where our mission is to bring people closer to their emotions through conversations about our life experiences to understand not only who we are, but who we want to be. Today I have joining me someone that I met a gang poetry event. Her name is Janiris. I found myself there by myself, and I set a goal for myself to introduce myself to at least one other person anytime I do something. And she happened to be that person I did that with. I followed her on Instagram, and seeing her videos and everything she was about felt like she was definitely someone that I needed to be here. I appreciate you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
I usually kick this podcast off with a community meeting. Do you know what that is?
No.
Something that we do at my job where we ask somebody 3 questions to, how would I say, to gauge where they're at and make sure they're looking forward into the future.
Hmm.
The questions are, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, grounded, present.
Okay. What is a goal for today or this week?
Ooh, a goal for this week. I just recently partnered with my sister-in-law in making candles with essential oils. And the dope thing about essential oils is that it's a form of aromatherapy. So it also mentally stimulates the brain where it releases chemicals that can help you experience relaxation or calmness, focus, energy. So we're going to be working on that.
So your goal is to work on that this week?
Yeah, we're going to be just working on making the candles and starting our journey with it.
Who can you ask for help?
My family.
And I'm sure they got you.
Yeah.
Can you give me one fact about yourself?
Oh, one fact. I love poetry.
We found each other in the same space,
Yeah.
so that's something that we both love.
Mm-hmm.
Before I get into the rest of the stuff, I want to talk a little more about the candles. How long have you been making them, or what brought you into that space?
So actually, my sister-in-law has her own candle business. She has her own small business that she started in 2020, and she's just been on it since, like very consistent. And I've really seen her grow. And we decided to partner up to do a line, and we came up, with a concept that I'm sure is gonna come out beautiful. So I'm excited for it. But yeah, just through partnering up with her.
Okay. Do you have a name for the line?
So her specific line is called Tender Time Candles.
Tender Time Candles.
Yeah. Yeah, she has a website as well, tendertimecandles.com. And also she's on Instagram, Tender Time Candles.
I'll make sure I follow her account.
Yes.
But if you need somebody to test out these new candle line, I'm right here.
Well, I actually have a candle here now. This I made it myself because I wanted to be grounded and calm for this podcast, but I also wanted to be focused. So,
And you are the first guest to come in here and make this space your own. I really respect that you got the diffuser going, the tea,
mm-hmm.
and I hope that that does influence you in regard to the answers that you give
Mm-hmm.
and bring your most authentic self.
Yeah.
I discussed this with you before about the reason why I felt I wanted you to come onto this podcast was because on Instagram you seem like you you have a lot of advice. You speak a lot of life
Mm.
with your words. And have you always been like that? Or what has motivated you to talk the way you do on Instagram?
Hmm. I think I've always been a thinker, and in sharing my videos, I'm really just sharing my thoughts and sharing my journey because I feel like within my journey, I've gained a lot of wisdom, and now I'm at a point where I just I want to share like my expression to because it could possibly inspire someone else or help someone else.
Have you always been someone that shares their journey or tries to inspire other people?
No, no, because I never had a journey before this. So it's like once I started this journey, like which was when I got out of the military, I kind of just dug into myself, and then once I started, I guess, feeling my most authentic self, that's when I felt comfortable and empowered enough to share videos in which I just speak my mind.
And I specifically told you, I think the video, the one that you talk about just not giving a fuck about what people say, and just having the confidence to share your journey, and and it doesn't matter if it's not gonna reach a very large group of people, but there's a specific person out there that needs to hear what you have to say, and that's pretty powerful. So just keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
I'm definitely gonna go back into the military, but I do have a couple questions before that. What does community mean to you?
Ooh. I think community is just a collective of like-minded people who inspire, motivate, and support each other.
Who or what is your community?
My community is my family and my friends.
Your family and your friends?
Hmm.
That's a perfect answer. How has your community evolved after high school?
Ooh. Honestly, my community went through changes because after high school was when I went into the military. So now it's part of this very different community, this very different culture. So kind of getting out of that culture and going back to, you know, normal society essentially, to this community that I was a part of before, but now I have to reintegrate um, in a way where my military identity and mindset wouldn't fit smoothly. So it took a lot of shedding that like identity so that I could really feel comfortable like just stepping back into the regular world.
Okay. You bring it up again, so let's talk about it. What brought you into joining the military?
So I joined the military because I was part of JROTC in high school. Yeah.
I remember those kids running around.
Yes, that was me. Um, and I joined right after high school because I was also interested in becoming a police officer because I was a part of the Police Explorers program for New Haven. And I figured the best of both worlds would be to go to the Army as military police. Like that was my way of doing both.
I would have never guessed you were in the military until you posted that video about Veterans Day, I believe it was. You
Yeah.
were just going through your story, and it was a lot to read, but I got to the end of it, and I didn't realize so much about you. And it's really true when they say that you can't judge a book by its cover, because I don't think it's something that you talk about too often.
No, I don't.
How long have you been out of the military?
It's about to be 3 years in December.
I do like to play around a lot, but this is a serious question. How do you feel when you tell people you're in the military? Do you expect them to say thank you for your service?
No, I actually think it's weird.
Okay, okay. I think it's weird too, and I don't want to be disrespectful, but
Yeah.
shout out to you.
Yeah, because it's like I never know how to answer. So,
What was your most memorable memory from the military?
ooh, memorable.
While you're thinking, I do want to know positive and negative.
Okay. I guess positive would be the first one that comes to mind would be graduating OSA. which is it's basically boot camp and job training all in one. So just, graduating and officially being a soldier, like I was proud of that.
How long is a process is that?
For me, because I was military police, the the OSA training is about 5 months, but it's different based on the different jobs.
Did you make friends during that didn't make it through?
Yeah, there were definitely people that didn't make it through.
How did that affect you?
Um, I wouldn't say it really affected me. It was just very like surreal to like start with so many different women and then the numbers just dwindle down and you only graduate with a few.
I can imagine how incredible of a feeling it is to go through that process and be one of those last women standing.
Mm, I guess, yeah.
It sounds powerful. You set a goal and you followed through with it. So you beat the odds.
Yeah.
What about negative?
Oh, negative. I wouldn't say I have like a specific memory, but I guess my negative experience was that I was dealing with a lot of pain in my body, like I was dealing with injuries, and it didn't seem like the leadership ever really cared. So it made it difficult for me to like, just really take care of my body and make sure I was good. And because of that, I still kind of dealt with like chronic pain even after the military because I couldn't get it taken care of.
Do you go to a doctor now for that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I go to the VA, like I do yoga, like I'm good. It was just that in the military, you're just kind of looked at as as useless when you're injured.
Oh, wow.
So that was the experience.
So it's two different routes I want to go with questions right now. You talked about shedding,
Mhm.
like coming back and reintegrating yourself. What was the hardest part that you had to shed? Or what were some moments that you realized that you had your military cap on, but you were in regular society now?
What I really had to shed was just living in this state of fear where like you're hyper vigilant, you're on guard. It's a really stressful way to live. Um, and it's normalized in the military, because you're being like, as a law enforcement officer, you're being trained to make sure that, you're on guard and you're on your toes. But then when you integrate to regular society, it's like it translates to is anxiety. So yeah.
Shedding that mentality was the hardest part.
Mhm.
Is that something you still struggle with now?
No, and it's been because I know how to manage it now.
What skill do you feel comes into play the most when it comes to managing that level of anxiety?
Ooh. You know what? I can't even say a particular skill because there's so much that you can do. I think it was a series of acquired skills because I went to therapy and I really kind of faced like my shadow. And I worked through healing that through journaling, obviously through therapy, through moving my body, through almost reprogramming the mind to release anything that doesn't serve you and to just become more positive. So it's really been a combination of like yoga, breathing, meditation.
Those definitely sound like skills that could help. I mean, they have helped you, so thank you for sharing. Do you recommend the military police to people?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not gonna say I don't want to say I don't recommend it because I don't want to discredit um, my journey, and that was definitely a part of it. So I don't regret joining the military. Um, I would just say if it's really what someone wants to do, then go do what it is that you want to do. Everyone has their own unique journey, so I can't say that your experience is going to be like mine. I had a very different job than other military members. I was at a different company, so my experience is unique. So I don't want to. I wouldn't say that I would recommend, and I wouldn't say that I wouldn't.
Would you be willing to answer what was your job
What was my job?
in the military police? You said your job was very different.
Oh no, I mean like the military police job in general,
Oh, okay.
because like there are so many different jobs in the military. Um, so yeah, the experience of me is not going to be the same as other career fields.
Oh, as in if you.
Because there's dental, there's law, there's a whole bunch of different other career fields within within the army.
That makes sense. I see what you're saying because my cousin is in the Navy
Mm,
and she's travels a lot. And I noticed that you traveled a lot as well.
yeah.
What was your favorite place to visit?
Ooh. Um, I loved Switzerland. It's so beautiful there.
What is so beautiful about it?
The water and like the mountains, like it's very like it's almost kind of untouched. Like it's just like natural and beautiful.
That sounds nice.
Yeah,
Um, I consider myself a big fan of nature, so I definitely got to put that on my bucket list. Going to
mm,
Switzerland.
for sure.
I want to go into another section. There's this book that I often mention. It's called The Book of Human Emotions. It's written by this lady, Tiffany Watt Smith, and she defines a lot of different emotions that come from different cultures or some people that heard before. And and the emotion I want to ask you about is, did you know what ilinx is?
It
Yeah,
No.
it's it's of let's see, voluptuous panic or wanton destruction. An example would be when somebody throws papers out of the window just to see them all fly around. It's like a feeling of riding on a roller coaster
Mm,
where you know what's going to happen, but you know it's still kind of I don't want to say destructive, but
mm.
chaotic. Have you ever experienced that?
Um, if I'm taking this long, I probably have. So yeah.
I understand that. Would I say I've experienced that? I don't want to say yes because I'm taking long, but I'm trying to really think whether I have. I wouldn't say so much now. Maybe in my past when I was either frustrated or or overly excited. I just did things and acted out
Mm,
rather than sit down and let those emotions pass through me. You seem very calm, so it's probably in a while since you've experienced illness.
yeah.
But maybe I would think that some training in the military would prioritize that, like simulated chaos.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
Like like you said, you've lived in with the mentality in the military police where you're always on guard.
Hmm.
But how do you train somebody to be always on guard? I don't know what it was, but your video on Veterans Day, they sprayed something in your face. What's that?
Oh yeah, it was OC spray. It's basically mace.
How many times have they done that to you?
You just go through it one time
Okay.
for initial training. Like in order for you to carry OC spray, you have to be OC sprayed. Same with taser. If you're carrying a taser, you have to be tased.
Okay, so I guess those are the type of things where they they force you into this type of panic, but it's very controlled.
Yeah,
Are a lot of the trainings like that?
yeah, that's basically all the training. Yeah.
What was the most difficult training?
Ooh, the most difficult. I would say probably the OC
The OC
spray.
spray?
That was painful.
You look like you're running for your life right there.
Yeah, because I had to go through an obstacle in which
After being sprayed?
yeah, you go through like 5 different stations where you're either using your baton or you're throwing punches or kicks at like a boxing mat,
Like one of those
a
dummies?
boxing pad. Yeah, like a pad.
That sounds very difficult
Yeah.
because if I attempted that and I didn't fail out before that, that was going to be the day for me. Let me switch gears real quick. You talked about having a passion for poetry. Why did you stop posting poetry on your poetry page?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, I think I stopped because I started coming up with, for one, I took a break off of poetry because I didn't feel inspired for a few months. But then I recently started making more poetry, and I had stopped because going to gang poetry actually kind of inspired me to write, but for the purpose of performing. So I didn't want to just put any of my poems online just in case I wanted to perform it.
Listen, just put them out. Nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I saw that on Instagram before. If it's fire, it's fire.
You're right. You're right. Okay.
I'm telling you from how I end this podcast. Every podcast is with the poem. So it motivates me to write more, touch up on other stuff. And like, I haven't performed. I mean, I've performed twice now. Wednesday was the second time I performed, and it was open mic. And you'd be surprised the response you can get from people.
Yeah.
And even if it's something that you wrote a couple years ago. And the reason why you came here is because somebody needs to hear your story. So somebody needs to hear those words too.
Yes. Yes. I love that.
Next, I'm going to ask you a little deeper question. Take your time to answer.
Okay.
When was the last time you cried?
Yesterday.
Are you willing to share why you cried?
Yes. I basically I had a conversation with someone who had hurt me in a past relationship, and I needed to release that pain. So I needed to just express myself and allow whatever emotions needed to come out, which is exactly what I did during our conversation. And yeah,
How did you feel after?
relieved, like free. And that's why I feel like today was such a good day because I started like just taking care, like I had the energy to take care of stuff because I released those like emotions.
I think that's beautiful. And that glad that you're here and just release it more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's perception, but the power of perception is so powerful. And I say that because you know how, like, sometimes when bad things happen to you, you're like, oh, this always happens to me. But the power of perception is positive. It, like, you grow when something bad happens. You you just think about how it's going to help you grow. Or I needed to go through that. And if you needed to be vulnerable and let those emotions out yesterday so you could be here today,
Yeah, absolutely.
um, who or what in your life makes you smile?
Oh, my nieces and nephews.
What does self-care mean to you?
Self-care means self-love, a form of honoring yourself
How do you honor yourself?
through meditation, through, digging into myself, through going through therapy, journaling.
Is therapy something new to you ever since leaving the military? I mean, MP?
Yeah, I did therapy in the military a little bit like before getting out, but I would say I officially did therapy consistently when I had gotten out of the military about a year after.
Did your view of therapy change while you were in the military? Or was that, or were you always kind of fond of it?
I was always open to therapy. Yeah.
Was it cool how I said MP, like I served?
Yes.
How do you plan to honor yourself this week?
Ooh. Through organizing and setting intentions for the day
I love that.
to orient myself.
I love that. That's how I honor myself as well.
Mm.
I try to tell myself, even if I write 5 or 10 things, as long as I get one thing done,
Mm.
I honor myself.
Yeah, keeps you accountable.
What brings you back to peace?
I really like listening to music, singing, meditation.
You sing?
I don't actually sing, but I sing. You know what I mean? Like I don't got a singing voice, but I just love the act of singing.
I completely understand what you mean.
I'm a shower singer.
You a shower singer?
Yeah.
I'm a car singer.
Yes, and a car singer.
I don't know none of the lyrics, but I'll be going for it.
Oh no, I know the lyrics.
Who's your favorite artist?
Ooh, my favorite artist is Landrell.
Landrell?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Landrell is he's like a high vibrational singer. Like he sings a lot about like spirituality and just like just elevating.
Okay, you're gonna have to send me your favorite song.
Yeah, okay, cool.
This next section is my favorite part of this podcast. I call it Feel This Way. I will say a word, phrase, or statement, and I want you to tell me what emotions, thoughts, or memories it sparks.
Okay.
The first word is purpose.
Ooh. Purpose. My journey.
Your journey?
Yeah.
That brings us back all the way to the beginning. When you talked about going on your journey and feeling the need to share, there was a very popular quote. I don't want to get it wrong, but it goes along the lines of, the meaning of life is to find your skill or something that you're absolutely really good at, and the purpose of life is to give it away. So keep giving it away.
Yeah, I love that quote.
The next word or statement is broken promises.
Oof. That's a deep one right there. I think of past relationship.
And you got me thinking now. How do you feel now about those broken promises?
I would say I'm grateful because I learned from it. Like I feel like I turned my wounds into wisdom. So
Is that a bar in one of your poems? Because if not, I'm stealing that. I'm telling you that right now.
No. I'm gonna have to use it now just in case.
You got to get it out before me now. The next word is art.
Art. I just think of me.
You're your own muse?
Yes, I am art. I create art.
Has that always been your mindset?
No.
When did you start to view yourself as art?
I would say within the past 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
What was so pivotal in the last 2 months?
I just felt this I hit this point in my journey where I just felt so comfortable being my most authentic self based on going down creative outlets and, making art, like painting, making poetry. Like, that really helped me tap into my authenticity, which felt really empowering.
That's dope. Um, I would say my timeline is very similar to you. In the past, like, what are we, November? And maybe 3 months ago, I went through something. And after going through that, I put such an emphasis on being my most authentic self
Mm.
and sharing that with people. I mean, that's why I started this podcast. I feel like once you really realize who you are and you love yourself specifically for that, what did the T say?
You are unlimited.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
The next word or phrase is Jadis and Sadie.
Oh, my babies.
I know. What do you say? Jadis is 7
Mm-hmm.
and Sadie's turning what?
She is turning, oh my God, her birthday's coming up in March. I think she's turning 3. Yeah.
How does being an aunt factor into who you are?
Mm. I think it's the part of me that just wants to like give love and empower because I love them so much. Like, yeah.
They jump up and down when they see you.
Yes, they're always so excited to see me.
That's beautiful. How often do you get to see them?
Ooh, I used to see them like every single day because I would always hang out with my brother. But I would say at least like, I don't know, sometimes once a week.
That's good. Definitely a consistent figure in their lives.
Mm.
Don't stop that.
Yes.
Kids are definitely the future.
Mm. Yes.
At least what you prepare them for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This last phrase is sunflower soul.
Yes, that's me.
That's you?
Yes, sunflower
Can
soul.
you elaborate?
So, well, for one, sunflower soul is the title for one of Landrell's songs.
Oh, there she go.
Yeah. So I got the concept from him. Okay, I didn't make that one up. But I say that I'm sunflower soul because I feel like within my journey, I really like dug into my roots and I watered my soil and like I planted my seeds and like I allowed myself to grow into this like, sunflower. Like, just elevating from weeds to like a beautiful flower.
That's nice. I never knew that sunflowers, some can grow to 10 feet tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So make sure you treat your soil right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Those aren't necessarily all the questions I had for you. On this next part, I usually never had somebody come here willing to share their poetry, and I was hoping that you would be willing to.
Yes, I will. Actually, let me sip a little bit of this tea because I haven't had it yet. It's good too. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, bear with me. Okay. So this poem is called Golden. I don't know where life is taking me, but I'm enjoying the ride. It's been a roller coaster of ups and downs, but right now I'm feeling high. No blunt, just blunt. Because when I began to speak my truth, I found my authenticity, and that was freeing. I'm no longer shackled to my limiting beliefs, beliefs that weighed me down, that kept me stuck, that forced me inside my head, wondering how I'm going to go up. But I grew the rose in the dark, because even in my darkness, I was deserving of my flowers. I watered my soil with my tears, then fertilized my ground with love. So now those who know who knew sorry. So now those who knew me before don't know me no more. They'd have to see me to believe me, but the new me don't even want that no more. Because I've been changing directions, no steering wheel, just using that internal guidance by feeling what I feel. This path ain't easy, that's why I'm on it. So when I tell you my pain, it's not for pity. I just want you to understand how my journey to this dream morphed from a nightmare. See, I've been stuck in my head, wondering why life ain't fair, till I dug into my own soil, pulled out the weeds in my garden, and found gold mines. Just call me an alchemist, because I knew if I digged, I'd find something. So I digged and I digged until I realized I am the gold.
And look at the timing of that. Weren't we just talking about The Alchemist?
Yes, we were. We were.
And I love the part when he talks about watering the soil with your tears. Especially when you talk about watering the soil with your tears. And you talk about learning from the broken promises.
Yes, absolutely.
I read a couple of your poems on Instagram. One of the lines that you had in there that stuck with me till now, like where I had me thinking like, yo, she talking this shit right there, was dousing myself in heavy creams when the memories suck me dry. There's so much layers to that. It takes me to so many different times of life. It was just so good. I appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
If you want to go and open a mic, let me know. I told my boy I want to get out there more. I want to practice more. So no reason for you not to come out and speak your word.
Yes, I would be down.
You also had this other quote that I liked. Your relationships will not be healthy until you're healthy. Until then, they will serve as a mirror for your own internal conflict.
Yes. And that was a realization I had that really opened my eyes to a lot, because I started realizing that until I really get to know myself, like the things within me that I have to work on or that I have to release, then how can I expect to attract healthy relationships if my own relationship with myself wasn't healthy? So
that was real. And all that has been, that specifically has been something that on my journey I've had to learn right now. Like in this space of self-acceptance, it's like, once my perception shifted, I started treating myself in a better way. I've run into all these different types of people that see the world the same way. I think that's why I brought you here.
Yeah, you start aligning.
And all timing is divine.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I always end the podcast with a poem. Do you mind if I go ahead?
Yes.
All my angst you wash away, the way waves dismantle sandcastles at the beach. At night, you lie next to me, but your anxiety makes you feel out of reach. I just want to return the way you make me feel, so I caress you and whisper sweet nothings that contain my entirety. Sadly, how to love you has always been a challenge. Pair that with how properly receiving love never came naturally. Two works in progress. That might explain why I always feel several brushstrokes from being complete. Are you not the artist I need? Do your abstract tendencies clash with my architectural view? Why do certain conversations leave me Picasso blue? But again, I have to tell myself that's not on you. So I scrap my canvas, reapply the gesso. I've grown in favor of the ambiguity of symbolism provided by a swatch of yellow, like Van Gogh. I used to not use my ear, be selective of what I hear. Now I listen more to my sunflower. To age your bloom, I bathe you in my silent sun power, because my view of you is defined by what I do to you, rather than what I say. I piece together your collage of stories, step back and appreciate the photo montage, the bad and beautiful, because on the worst days, the glue doesn't dry, and the wind blows away all the layers that play a key role in your aesthetic. But instead of whispering, I hold you, hoping you don't feel defeated, because even when you feel broken into pieces, I find you mosaic. This is something to hold us.